This is Coach Lee with myexpatcoach.com, and I'm going to talk to you about a problem I'm seeing very often is that people are ignoring their ex during no contact. And part of the reason is because other coaches, relationship coaches, will actually tell you to ignore your ex during no contact. And I'm going to tell you why that is really bad advice and how that can get you into trouble with your ex and even cause your ex to move on. Take a second and click the subscribe button below so that you can be notified when I have more videos that are helpful to your situation and with relationships in general, including attraction and relationships dynamics, communication, all kinds of things related to relationships. So click subscribe below and let's get going with this video. It has gotten to where hardly a day goes by that I don't speak to someone who was given the advice to ignore their ex during no contact. In other words, the breakup has happened and this person who has been broken up with has rightly gone into no contact so that their ex can truly feel the consequences of the breakup and maybe even become concerned that they're moving on or that they could move on, that they have the potential to move on, so that the person who did the breaking up can actually feel some of the loss, which is so important, because if you don't feel the loss, then you're actually not feeling the breakup and the motivation to do something about it is not there. So we have to have that to happen. I have several videos on no contact and why no contact works and encouraging you to stay in no contact. So check out my channel to see those, but just know that no contact is very important and it is the right move. So if you've gotten that advice, good. So far, so good. But where it becomes problematic is that during no contact, if your ex starts to feel those consequences and starts to miss you and realize that they've made a mistake, they will very often reach out to you. And they won't have the perfect words. They won't just say, I messed up, I want you back. Because even though it seems silly, especially if you have told them you want them back and they should know that you want them back, they aren't sure how you'll respond to those words. And they fear rejection, just like you fear rejection. And so the magic words you want to hear from your ex, which would be simply that they want to get back together or that they still love you and they want to get back together, you are very unlikely to hear. That does not mean that your ex does not want you back. And so I talk to people who have been told to ignore their ex, and this is so often the case, and they are bringing the problem to me so that I can try to help them. What has happened is their ex has reached out while they were in no contact, as they should be. And their ex reaches out 2, maybe 3 times, and they are being ignored. So if you were dumped and you went into no contact and your ex was reaching out to you and you ignored them, let's say that happened 2 or 3 times. Your ex sent you a text and just said, wanted to see how you're doing, or, hey, remember that time we went to this beach? I was there the other day. It was a lot of fun. How are you doing? They'll say things like that. Or they might ask you for details about something. Hey, remember that movie we saw? Who was in that? Or what was the name of that? Something like that. Seems very casual. It doesn't seem to be about the relationship always. Now, sometimes it is a little bit. But the texts are just sort of casual. And let's say that you have gotten that advice and you have ignored your ex. Perhaps you've noticed your ex stops reaching out. Why would they do that? And as you might imagine, this irritates me a little bit because here's why they would do that. They already wonder if you're mad at them, wonder if you'll take them back because they have realized they don't want the breakup, or at least they are doubting that they want the breakup. And so they're seeking your presence, which basically means they miss you. They don't really know what to say, but they just want to reach out and see what happens. And a lot of times they are not 100% certain, but they have enough doubt and they miss you enough that they are reaching out to you. And that is a good thing. When they are ignored, what are they to take from that? They will take maybe that you're mad at them and you don't want to talk to them, or maybe that you have moved on and that you have no interest in getting back together, that maybe there's someone else, which makes them think, well, if there's someone else, then maybe he or she wasn't really in love with me to begin with if they can move on that quickly with someone else. And so your ex decides They want to stop feeling like a fool reaching out to you. They want to stop the embarrassment of reaching out and being ignored. It's like talking to a wall. They feel that it doesn't accomplish anything anyway, and they begin to think the situation is lost. No matter what, and this is so key, if you haven't heard anything else that I've said, please pay attention to this. No matter what, they at least begin to assume you're not going to respond, and so they are getting nowhere by reaching out to you. They see it as pointless to reach out to you because you're not going to respond. And so what you do in that situation is you help your ex move on. And so it is so frustrating when relationship coaches give such bad advice that's based more on theory and even some sort of vengeful attitude toward this person who broke up with you instead of practically doing things to get back together. When your ex is reaching out to you, you need to leverage that momentum. You need to capitalize on that momentum. They're reaching out to you. This is what you've wanted. And no one is perfect. So it's very possible your ex made the decision to break up with you and then regretted it later. People make mistakes. We are all human. There is an amount of forgiveness that you will have to have for your ex when they come back to you after they've broken up with you. And it does not make them evil. It doesn't make them a narcissist if they broke up with you. Now, they very well could be a narcissist. That's another video for another time. But sometimes people just make mistakes. We all do. And many of us have broken up with people before. And we wouldn't assume that we were just evil, heartless individuals when we did it. So don't look at your ex that way. If your ex reaches out to you, don't ignore them. That's a jerk thing to do. That's not a way to make them feel that you're hard to get or that you're really doing no contact by ignoring them. No contact is about the person that you can control, which is you to some degree. You are the only person you come close to controlling. That's why you go into no contact. You don't choose no contact for another person. If they reach out to you, that's a good sign. And you should capitalize on that so that you two can actually have a connection and benefit from it. If they reach out to you and you ignore them, then you stop the momentum, you don't allow that connection to happen, and you help them to move on because they have no outlet to try to fill your presence with you. And so what might they do? They might just give up. They are very unlikely, though, to try to contact you again. You will normally see this pattern. Your ex will reach out a couple of times, maybe a third time, and then you won't hear from them again. Are there exceptions? Of course there are. But call after call that is booking with me nowadays is someone who is ignoring their ex, and then their ex stops reaching out to them, and it's been a month or two, and their ex has not reached out since that last time, and they're saying, I don't get it, what do I do? Well, at this point, the ex feels that they cannot reach out to you. They feel it will do no good. It's embarrassing. It's a shot to their ego. It makes them feel like they have little worth, that you are just flat out ignoring them. And so they're unlikely to reach out again. Why would they? If they don't feel they're going to get a response from you, they don't know that you've planned to do this for a certain amount of time. So they have no way of knowing you'll stop. They just figure you never want to talk to them again. Do you think that that's a good setup for getting your ex back? That they think you never want to talk to them again? Because if they think that, what do you think they might do? They might just try to move on, and they might just not ever contact you again. And so understand where my irritation, my frustration is here. It's at relationship coaches who tell you to ignore your ex when they reach out during no contact. It's ridiculous. And I hope that I've caught you in time. I hope that you found this video in time, that you don't ignore your ex who is missing you and reaching out to you and doing exactly what you want them to do and what no contact helps them to do. The whole reason you got into no contact was so they'd miss you and want to get back together. And now you're being told to stifle that. Makes no sense. Don't do it. If you have, you can set up a coaching call with me and we can discuss some of that. But basically, what you need to do is to show your ex there's a path to you, that there is an opening again, that you can be spoken to, that you will not ignore them. You may even have to reach out to them to undo this, because this means that no contact has succeeded, but then you have sabotaged it. So you have to kind of start over. And it's not the best situation. So people say, well, I'm not supposed to reach out. I'm in no contact. Well, yes, but no contact was intended to get your ex to reach out to you. And now, because you've gotten bad advice, you have put a wall up and they feel they can't reach out to you. So you have to improvise. And that means you're going to have to reach back out to them. You can set up a coaching call with me if you want to figure this out and talk this through, and I can tell you what has worked. Or you can get my emergency breakup kit, which goes through what has worked as well. But hopefully you haven't ignored your ex. And if you have, you may simply just reach out to them and say, I'm sorry that I didn't respond. I'm open to listening. If you still want to talk, maybe we can get together and have coffee. But you've got to reach out to them and basically let them feel they can reach out to you. So it's not the best situation, but that's what you have to do. You have to break no contact so that they realize you won't ignore them. Ignoring them was the wrong move, so this will at least get you back on the right track. It's not ideal, but because they have been ignored, something has to be done so that they feel they can reach out to you again. You can set up a coaching call with me at myexbackcoach.com. That's myexbackcoach.com. And you can also get more information on my emergency breakup kit. The emails are really coming in. I'm so glad it's been so helpful to so many people. It's a couple hours of material. It's very focused on helping you get your ex back and understanding what is going on in this process and why your ex is acting so cold and so confusing. It's helping you to figure out what your next move should be to get your ex back, and that you don't have to get them back today, that you don't have to panic. Though there is a window of time, usually you have enough time, you have a lot of time. And so you don't have to get them back today to get them back. And I hope that eases some of your minds, because I know the panic that you're feeling if you've been broken up with. But get more information about my emergency breakup kit. There's a link to it in the description below. And this has been Lee with myexbackcoach.com. Thank you for watching.